Booktube, Sarah here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my October 2019 anticipated reads. I love doing these videos. I have such fun every single month picking these books from my lists of, books that are coming out in the next month, and I'm really super excited about all these books. There are 3 Christmas books on this list and 2 that are non-holiday related. But as per usual, I'm going to go through this list in order of publication date. So let's start off with a holiday novella, or holiday novel, excuse me. And coming out on the 1st of October is A Miss Miracle Christmas by Debbie Macomber. Debbie Macomber and Christmas, they're synonymous with each other. Not having a Debbie Macomber book at the holiday season is like not having Christmas cookies or carols or, anything at all like that. And I had to make sure that this wasn't a reprint of an older book, and it's not. This is brand new as of this year, and I'm super excited about it. I am debating on pre-ordering it. Maybe, I don't know. I might see if it's going to end up being at Walmart for a reduced price, but this is definitely one that I would like to read this Christmas season. This is not a romance novel per se. It's about a couple that's already married and they are trying to have a baby, and they're not having any luck in that, unfortunately. And along with that, they now have to move in with, I believe it's our main characters are Laurel and her husband's name is Zach, and they need to move in with her beloved grandmother Helen. She has suffered some illnesses and she needs kind of constant care. So I guess because Laurel and Zach both work full time, they do need another caregiver to come in and help them out as well. And in comes Miss Miracle. In a way, it sounds very Mary Poppins-esque. This woman comes in and she is going to kind of take over and make things better, and they notice the grandmother's in better spirits and she's decorating the tree and she's getting into the holiday spirit. And then of course something happens with the baby. It's a feel-good Christmas story. Again, you cannot go wrong with a Debbie Macomber. I mean, this is what she does. This is her bread and butter, and this is what she's so good at. And I highly recommend, maybe not necessarily, if this one doesn't sound like your cup of tea, she has a plethora of holiday titles that are generally not typically very, very long. And they're wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I read a Debbie Macomber every year, and I absolutely love them, and I highly recommend that you give this one a try. The next book, I was a bit hesitant in actually adding to this list, but it is definitely one that I have my eye on, and I would really like to read to see how this author takes on this subject matter. That is something that I didn't even know about until earlier this year when I read another book on the exact same subject. And the book coming out on October the 8th is The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I am not the biggest fan of Jojo Moyes. I read 1 or 2 of her books years ago, and I didn't particularly care for them. The other thing that made me very hesitant about this book was the fact that when I looked this one up on Amazon, right on the main page, like right underneath, the date and all that stuff of when the book's being released, in big bold letters it says soon to be a major motion picture, which again, was the movie rights sold before the book was even finished. When an author becomes big and when they've already had a movie put out based on one of their books, this is what kind of tends to happen. So again, hesitant on this one, but again, the subject matter is something that fascinates me because it's something that I think is just so interesting, and I didn't even know was a part of American history until I read a book earlier this year about it. And that is, this book is about the women in Kentucky who are delivering books, the book women in Kentucky during the Great Depression. Earlier this year, I read and reviewed and loved a book called The Blue Woman of Troublesome Creek. And this was about the exact same premise of these women who delivered library books to people who live way up in the Appalachian Mountains and don't necessarily have access to libraries and things like that. So this story is about the same thing, but these sound like vastly different characters. These sound like characters that are maybe a bit more well-to-do, and they're trying to do something to enrich their lives in a way. So a different take on the same subject, but still one that sounds very, very interesting to me. And like I said, I was hesitant. I know not a lot of people enjoy Jojo Moyes. I think you either have a love-hate relationship. You either really like her or you really don't like her books. And I think this one, though, is quite a departure from her romances. This is not a romance novel, in my opinion, from the sounds of it. This definitely sounds like it's going to be a historical fiction novel with some possible romantic elements in here, but it will not be a romance per se. Definitely historical fiction, and historical fiction is something I really do enjoy, so I definitely think I will be giving this one a shot. The next book I want to share with you is another Christmas story, and this one I am so excited about. This one might definitely have to be a pre-order, regardless of the price. I might have to go ahead and bite the bullet because this sounds like it's going to be a delightful Christmas story, and I think I definitely need to read it this holiday season. And coming out on the 15th of October is Let It Snow by Nancy Thayer. Now, Nancy Thayer I have read before, and I really enjoy her books. They take place in the Nantucket area, in that Nantucket, New England, you know, small town beach community, and I really love them. But every book that I've read by her has taken place in the summertime, has been that summer beach read. Now, don't quote me. This might be one of her first Christmas stories. If I am wrong, I want to go and check out to see if she's done more, because I definitely think that this would totally be in her wheelhouse. And this story sounds utterly delightful. It's about a woman who lives in Nantucket, and it sounds like the beginning of a limerick, doesn't it? And she runs a toy shop, of all things. And of course, it takes place at Christmas time. And as it says on the back of the book, her Scrooge of a landlord has just raised her rent. So she's, you know, trying to make ends meet, and she's running this toy shop, and it's the busiest time of year for her. And then she befriends this the owner, the building's owner's granddaughter, whose name is Wink. And she slowly, as she gets to know the granddaughter, finds out that this man, he maybe isn't the Scrooge that he seems to be. And of course, the story goes from there. So it sounds like it's an older couple. It sounds delightful. From reading Nancy Thayer's previous works, I can say that there is little to no adult content in these books, which is always, you know, enjoyable. It really opens the market up to a lot more readers. I cannot wait to read this one. I think it just sounds delightful. You know, like I said, I might have to pre-order it. I might just go ahead and pre-order it on hardcover, because I believe that's how it's being released, or a trade paperback. I might skip getting it on the Kindle and just go right ahead and get a physical copy of it, because the cover of it is just gorgeous. So we shall see in the weeks to come whether I do pick it up or not. But yeah, this is one I'm definitely looking forward to. And it just sounds like the perfect Christmas story. The next book I have had on my radar for a few months. This is another non-Christmas story, but this one sounds utterly delightful. I have read this author several times. I know she has written for the Harlequin Super Romance line in years past, and I've always really enjoyed her books. And this one just sounds, it just sounds right up my alley. And it is called The Goddess of Fried Okra by Jean Brashear. This just sounds, you know what? I don't want to try and summarize this book for you. I just want to read the back of the book for you guys, because I think it'll explain it a lot better than I possibly could, because there is a lot going on in this book. So it says, ex-cocktail waitress and convenience store professional, P. O'Brien is filled with grief and regret, low on cash and all alone. Headed down a hot, dusty back roads of Central Texas, P is convinced she'll find a sign leading her to the reincarnated soul of her sister who raised her, a sign that she's found her place in the world of the living again. At least that's what the psychic told her. In an unforgettably funny and poignant journey, P collects an unlikely family of strays, a starving kitten, a pregnant teenager, a sexy con man trying to go straight. She meets a fierce martial arts master and a grandmotherly cafe owner. Two sisters that haven't spoken to each other in years, although they live in the same tiny town. The two become P's unlikely gurus as she struggles to learn swordplay and the art of perfect fried okra. She'll have to master both if she's going to find what matters most, her own lost soul. Does that not sound delightful? I'm like, I want to read it right now. Can I just read it right now, please? This book sounds so charming and so wonderful. I love, you know, sexy con man, stray kitten. I'm like, I'm sold. I want to read it right now. You know, so yeah, definitely check this one out. Again, this is an author I don't think a lot of people are familiar with, but I highly recommend that you check out her books, because she really does do a great job, and her books are utterly delightful. And the last book that I want to share with you guys comes out also on October 29th, And this book contains 3 things that immediately made my ears perk up. The book is called A Cowboy for Christmas by Sara Richardson. Cowboys, Christmas, and the author Sara Richardson. All 3 make to be what could potentially be a fantastic Christmas story. So this is the story of Ty and Darla, and they live in the small town of Topaz Falls. And their local cafe, or, you know, kind of the gathering spot for the community, it ends up burning to the ground. So Darla has this great idea on how to rebuild and get the funds to rebuild this cafe to help them out. And that is to run a Christmas cowboy, you know, festival. And they're going to have a cowboy bachelor auction, and they're going to have a rodeo. And Ty is a guy who lives in town, and for another reason entirely, in a way, he agrees to be her fake fiance. The reason he does this is because his brother is an NFL player. And the only way he can get his brother and family to come out to this small town and raise awareness by having this big football celebrity come to town is to say that, hey, guess what? I've got a fiance now. You should come spend Christmas with us. So, you know, they go about with this fake fiance, you know, storyline. And it just sounds so good. I have read Sara Richardson before. I really, really adore her work. I follow her on Instagram, and she is just absolutely delightful. She is so adorable. And this book just sounds so great. I cannot wait to read it. This one is definitely getting a pre-order from me, and I cannot wait. Yeah, definitely check this one out. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for this video today. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below, do any of these books sound good to you? Or are there any that I didn't talk about that you are looking forward to coming out in October? There are a ton of books coming out in October. There are a lot of ones that I have for e-arcs to read in October that I did not include on this list because, of course, I am going to be mentioning them in October as I read them. So I figured they're going to get talked about then. I want to talk about some different books in this video. So yeah, anyway, guys, until my next one, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so very much for watching. Bye, guys.